A grandmother was close to getting out of a bad relationship when this happened.
She had shut and locked her front door, and he shot 4 times through her front door, hitting her 3 times.
New at 6, how the gunman tried to use a local Hooters to confuse detectives and establish an alibi. A family now has justice after their loved one was shot and killed by an abusive boyfriend. Good evening, I'm George Estevez.
Glad you're here with us. I'm Linda Stouffer. This is video of that shooting. The victim was inside her home when her boyfriend of 4 years fired through the door, killing her. Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie is live at the Fulton County DA's Domestic Violence Division. Mark, you found out how the killer tried to cover his tracks.
Yeah, Cassie Hall, the lead prosecutor on the case, says domestic abuse can take many forms. Part of the reason the Fulton County DA's office has an entire division devoted to domestic violence, and in this case, there is economic abuse, but then physical violence, murder.
4 shots, 3 bullets, 1 life extinguished, all captured in stark, horrifying detail on a home security camera. February 2024, a Ring doorbell camera records the final moments of 51-year-old Samantha Bozeman's life. The footage shows her 33-year-old boyfriend, Maxwell Lartry, firing repeatedly through her front door. As Samantha bleeds out inside her Southwest Atlanta home, Maxwell doesn't call for help. Instead, he drives away, heading to Hooters to establish an alibi, while the mother of 2 fights for her last breaths. Their 4-year relationship had been marked by control and manipulation. Maxwell contributed nothing financially, yet demanded everything emotionally. He pressured Samantha to give up custody of her grandchildren. He threatened violence when she resisted his demands, and when she finally said, "I'm done with him," he responded with lethal force. This isn't just another domestic violence case. This is what happens when economic abuse, emotional control, and threats escalate to their deadliest conclusion. Before we continue, I want you to pay close attention to the warning signs in this story. Throughout this video, I'll be asking questions that might help you or someone you know avoid a similar fate. Are you ready? Because understanding this case could literally save lives. Samantha Bozeman was more than just a victim. She was a vibrant 51-year-old woman, described by those who loved her as joyful, happy, and always willing to help others. Her daughters, Hawaiiana Bozeman and Zipporah Ferguson, remember their mother's infectious positivity and the profound impact she had on everyone around her. Beyond being a loving mother, Samantha had taken on the responsibility of raising her grandchildren, legally adopting them, and providing them with the stability and care. This commitment to family showcased her selfless nature and dedication to those she loved. Her home in Southwest Atlanta was meant to be a sanctuary, a place of safety and comfort. Instead, it became the scene of her tragic end. The security camera she installed for protection ultimately documented her murder, providing crucial evidence but unable to prevent the violence that took her life. What makes Samantha's story particularly heartbreaking is that she had finally reached her breaking point. After years of enduring Maxwell's controlling behavior, she had made the decision many abuse victims struggle to make, to leave. She told her daughter, "I'm done with him," just hours before the shooting. Like many victims of domestic violence, Samantha's attempt to escape became the catalyst for the ultimate act of control. Her life represents countless others who find themselves trapped in relationships where love has been replaced by fear, where partnership has devolved into ownership, where leaving becomes the most dangerous decision they can make. For 4 years, Samantha endured a relationship that slowly transformed from romance to prison. Maxwell Lartry, 18 years her junior, established a pattern of control that experts recognize as textbook abuse. The financial dynamic was telling. Maxwell contributed nothing to household expenses while living under Samantha's roof. This economic abuse left her shouldering all financial burdens while he enjoyed the benefits of her hard work. When money creates chains, it's rarely about dollars and cents, it's about power. His demands grew more intrusive over time. Maxwell pressured Samantha to give up custody of her grandchildren, the very children she had lovingly adopted. This attempt to isolate her from family represents a classic abuser tactic: separate the victim from their support system. The threats escalated. "I'll shoot you if you come outside," he told her on multiple occasions. These weren't empty words, they were rehearsals for what would eventually unfold. What's most chilling is how Maxwell's behavior follows the predictable pattern of domestic abuse: control, isolate, threaten, and ultimately destroy. Ask yourself, would you recognize these warning signs in a friend's relationship? In your own? The absence of bruises doesn't mean absence of abuse. Sometimes the most dangerous relationships appear normal from the outside. Have you ever witnessed someone slowly changing their behavior to please their partner? That transformation might be the first visible sign of invisible chains. February 2024 began like any other day for Samantha Bozeman, but it would be her last. After 4 years of manipulation and control, she had reached her breaking point. "I'm done with him," she told her daughter that morning, 6 words that should have marked the beginning of her freedom. Instead, they triggered the countdown to her death. Maxwell Lartery couldn't accept rejection, couldn't tolerate losing control. When Samantha made it clear their relationship was over, his response wasn't to leave, it was to ensure she could never leave him. The Ring camera captured the moment in cold, digital clarity. Maxwell approached Samantha's front door, weapon in hand. No hesitation. No moment of reconsideration. 4 deliberate shots fired through the door, a barrier that should have represented safety but provided no protection against his rage. 3 bullets found their target. Samantha collapsed inside her own home, bleeding from wounds that would prove fatal. Evidence suggests she may have survived for some time alone, in pain, her life draining away while Maxwell drove off to create his alibi. Think about this. What goes through someone's mind as they fire a gun through a door, knowing who stands on the other side? What level of detachment allows someone to leave their partner dying while they head out for a night of entertainment? And the most important question, how many people right now are with partners who would choose violence over letting them go free? As Samantha lay dying in her home, Maxwell Lartery was busy constructing his alibi. He drove around Metro Atlanta, strategically creating a trail of his whereabouts, ending his night at Hooters laughing, eating, pretending nothing had happened, while the mother of 2 took her final breaths alone. Neighbors heard the gunshots and called police. Officers arrived to find Samantha deceased, another domestic violence statistic in a growing epidemic. The investigation moved quickly, with the Ring camera footage providing irrefutable evidence of Maxwell's actions. The video showed everything: his approach, his weapon, his deliberate aim. The 4 shots fired without hesitation. Technology that Samantha had installed for protection became the silent witness to her murder and ultimately the key to her killer's conviction. Detectives tracked Maxwell's movements after the shooting, dismantling his carefully constructed alibi. His attempt to establish normalcy after committing murder revealed a chilling lack of remorse or human connection. The most disturbing aspect? Maxwell's behavior after the shooting wasn't frantic or panicked, it was calculated. He didn't flee in terror, he went out to enjoy himself, showcasing a level of callousness that shocked even experienced investigators. What does it say about someone who can take a life, then immediately go celebrate as if nothing happened? Maxwell Lartery's day in court came in March 2025. The prosecution's case was devastating. The Ring footage played in the courtroom, forcing jurors to witness Samantha's final moments in high-definition clarity. Prosecutors painted a comprehensive picture of abuse, the economic control, the isolation tactics, the escalating threats. They emphasized that domestic violence extends far beyond physical attacks. It's about power, control, and ultimately, ownership. The defense, handled by the Fulton County Public Defender's Office, struggled against overwhelming evidence. The jury deliberated briefly before returning their verdict, guilty of murder. The judge sentenced Maxwell to life in prison with the possibility of parole, plus 5 additional years and 10 years of probation if ever released. But can any sentence truly deliver justice for Samantha? Can years behind bars restore what was taken from her daughters and grandchildren? As Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis stated after the verdict, "We are tired of burying our women to abusers," a sentiment that resonates with thousands of families who've lost loved ones to domestic violence. She was happy, joyful, and always helping, Samantha Bozeman said of her mother, tears streaming down her face as she addressed reporters outside the courthouse. Samantha's daughters now navigate a world without their mother, holidays with an empty chair, grandchildren growing up with their grandmother's love, milestones that will never be shared. Their grief has transformed into purpose. They speak openly about their mother's relationship, highlighting the warning signs they wish they'd recognized sooner. "If you see something, say something," Zipporah Ferguson urged. "Don't wait until it's too late." Their message is clear: silence protects abusers. Speaking up even when it's uncomfortable might save someone you love. The red flags in Samantha's relationship were waving long before the shooting. Financial control: Maxwell contributed nothing while living off Samantha. Isolation attempts pressuring her to give up her grandchildren. Explicit threats: "I'll shoot you if you come outside." Escalation when she attempted to leave. If you recognize these patterns in your relationship or someone else's, act immediately. Document everything. Create a safety plan before attempting to leave. Contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline 1-80-079-97233. Reach out to local shelters for resources and protection. Remember, the most dangerous moment in an abusive relationship is when the victim tries to leave. Proper planning and support can mean the difference between escape and tragedy. Don't ignore the warning signs; they're written in Samantha's blood. Samantha Bozeman's story ends with a life sentence for her killer, but for thousands of others trapped in abusive relationships, their stories are still being written. Every 20 seconds in America, someone becomes a victim of domestic violence. Every relationship that turns deadly shows the same warning signs Samantha experienced. Her legacy now lives in awareness, in the woman who recognizes controlling behavior early, in the friend who intervenes, in the family member who offers shelter. If this video helps just one person escape an abusive relationship, Samantha's story becomes more than tragedy, it becomes salvation. Like, comment, and subscribe to help spread this message. Someone in your audience might desperately need to hear it.